Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, we're talking blockchain technology with State Senator Ben Kieckhefer, Matthew Digesti of Blockchains LLC, and Kalie Work, the Washoe County Recorder. All coming up next on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
From your house to the White House, the folks at D&D Roofing can get it fixed with their eyes closed.
Nearly 200,000 Nevadans work in retail businesses, supporting families and the community. Nevada's retail businesses generated over $2 billion in sales tax revenue in 1 year, including nearly $700 million to help our schools. Shop around and see all that Nevada's retailers offer our state.
We're the Retail Association of Nevada, representing thousands of Nevada businesses.
Businesses that work for Nevada.
Pro Group Management is the place where companies can find workers' comp solutions that are designed to meet their specific business requirements. As regulations evolve, Pro Group takes a proactive approach to clear the path to make sure your business stays ahead of the curve. Knowing your workers' comp program is optimized, you can focus on other important matters related to your growing business. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Safety is the #1 priority for the trucking industry. Over $7 billion a year is spent on technology like this electronic eye that will apply the brakes automatically. But the most important factor for safety is the truck driver. These hardworking men and women who safely move over 70% of our nation's freight and 94% of Nevada's. We thank you because trucks move America forward.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, coming to you from Carson City. We're in the state capitol of the old Supreme Court, and we are joined by State Senator Ben Kieckhefer. Always a pleasure to have you back on the program, sir.
Thank you, sir.
For the first time, Kalie Work, who is the Washoe County Recorder, and delighted to have Matt Digesti here. He's Vice President of Government Affairs and Strategic Initiatives for Blockchains LLC. Pleasure to have you all here on the program. So we're going to start talking about this blockchain technology and the bills that you have going through. You've been shepherding this through the legislature now for quite a while. There are 4 bills, 161, 162, 63, and 64. Briefly explain what we're dealing with here and what blockchain technology is.
Right. Well, most importantly, we've been working on trying to create the sort of space within our state for entrepreneurs and technologists and developers to come and look to Nevada as the place that they want to be and really have the policies in place to support that ecosystem that supports the development of these technologies. So these 4 bills are a part of that effort. 161, which is up for a hearing this week, will create a regulatory sandbox for financial technology companies so that they could get waivers from some of the regulatory or statutory constraints that currently exist on businesses that operate in that space. Senate Bill 162 requires government adoption of electronic records, and I know Kalie can speak to that pretty well. 163 makes it very clear in our law that blockchains are an appropriate method for businesses to record their official internal corporate documents, and so that this is a safe space for them if they want to operate in that way. And then 164 is also clarifying language that ensures that cryptocurrencies are not taxable for the purposes of intangible personal property tax. So it puts cryptocurrency it puts cryptocurrency in the same list as things like stocks, bonds, mutual funds, other things that don't get taxed that you hold as personal assets. Those are not taxed in Nevada currently, and this adds crypto to that list.
Okay, and what kind of response have you gotten from these blockchain technology companies across the country and around the world for what we're doing here in Nevada?
I think it's been very positive, and I know Matt will be able to talk to that specifically. But this was a targeted economic development effort to try to make sure that Nevada was a welcoming place for this emerging technology. It has been a wildly successful effort, and I think that we're just going to continue moving the ball forward.
And do you have any idea of how many companies have moved to Nevada or are operating out of Nevada because of this?
You know, I keep hearing about a new one here and there, so I don't want to put a number to it, but I know that it is, not only have companies already located, there are more that are still continuing to look at both ends of the state. So it's a success.
And is it an international effort as well?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Kalie, as a recorder, what is your piece of this?
Sure. So for the last, I would say this time last year, we started piloting a program to digitize our mayor's certificates. So the problem that we saw for a long time was residents would get married, they would need a copy of their certified marriage certificate, and it would take 7 to 10 business days locally to receive them in the mail. But that just isn't, you know, we have a stronger demand now than we did ever before. People expect those records to be sent to them electronically and to be authenticated and accepted at those receiving agencies that they're sending those documents to. So we conducted a pilot program. It's been very successful. So far we've had over 60% adoption rate for those residents who are asking for those electronic records, and they're using them. They're using them with private entities, with public entities, and so what we're hoping SB 162 will do is really encourage those other agencies to really to accept electronic documents.
How about other county recorders around the state? Are they
Yes.
also trying to adopt this?
Yes. So Clark County actually just implemented their own pilot program, and they're using this very similar service that we're doing today, but on their property side.
Matt, everybody's very excited that Blockchains LLC came into the state of Nevada, bought 67,000 acres, pretty much all that was remaining at the Tahoe Industrial Center. And is it correct that basically what your company wants to do is develop this acreage, but utilizing companies that want to use the blockchain technology, the Ethereum technology that your company specializes in?
Yes, it is correct. And thank you for having us. Excited to be on the show.
Come back again soon, because I got lots of questions.
we would love to. But yes, that is correct. I mean, the big vision is that, you know, our founder and CEO, Jeff Burns, believes that public blockchain technology can fundamentally change how people interact with each other over the internet. And in order to see that vision through, he believes that we need a sandbox, for lack of a better word, where people can come and contribute and collaborate and demonstrate that public blockchain technology can be incubated and validated in a smart city, and the interactions between residents and government, education, those all can be fundamentally shifted in a way where it can be showcased in the smart city and show the world really that this is a different way of doing things and a better way of doing things.
Senator, your company, McDonald Corrado, put on a major seminar to inform people about blockchain technology, and I know from some of the people who attended that conference that they were thrilled with what they were able to learn. Mm-hmm. How difficult has it been for you to educate the other legislators on what is a very complex theory here?
Well, it's still a process, right? And I think part of the success of getting Senate Bill 398 through last session was that a lot of people didn't know exactly what we were talking about, right? But
always a great way to pass legislation.
There you go. But you know, Matt's done a really good job in helping present these bills this session, in doing a nice walkthrough of the technology itself and what it means in the run out as it gets implemented. So it's an ongoing process. It's one that we're going to continue to have. But it's been successful, and people are excited about it, and they're talking about it, and I think everyone recognizes that this is a strategic opportunity for the state, and we need to take advantage of it.
So let me ask you this, because it occurs to me as you were talking there, has the Gaming Control Board, the Gaming Commission, are they looking at this and looking at ways for gaming companies to be able to adopt this technology? Do they feel the confidence level that you have in the technology?
Well, look, I think the industry is a perfect place for this technology to be rolled out.
It would seem so, right?
It is, and I know that companies are individually looking at it. Obviously, in our regulatory structure, anything that gets proposed, you know, the GBC needs to validate. So that's you know, those processes are still going to be in place, but I think that it won't be long before we start seeing these technologies really rolling into the gaming space.
Within 3 years?
I think that's pretty aggressive for me to predict, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, so coming back to the county, what other areas do you feel that this can spread to, or are you looking at your entire office being based on blockchain technology?
Absolutely.
And if you don't mind, forgive me for this, but are you looking just at Ethereum, or are you looking at various other kinds? Because there are several different blockchain systems.
There are. So we're involved in Ethereum right now. What I would say is we're really taking this practical use case and we're learning from it. So in my marriage department right now, if this SB 162 again were to pass, I would expect a cost savings of about I'm estimating about 27 to 31%, and that's just in the first year, and that's at the cost per unit, so for each marriage certificate, right? So when we start talking costs in local government, it builds a business case for itself. One thing that my program doesn't do is it doesn't store all the data in the blockchain, which I think is a concern for some folks. We're using the hashing function, so it's simply a way to find a fingerprint on a document, and it assures that, yes, this has been authenticated. So very, very simple. What we're doing today, it's a very simple solution, and it's just using one component of the blockchain.
Okay, you used the word hashing. I'm not sure I understand what that means.
Yes, so hashing or the hash function of blockchain essentially takes a digital fingerprint of a document. And so we have a program through Titan Seal that essentially it shows us PDF, and if you take it over to their website, you kind of drag and drop, if you will, and if that fingerprint matches, it basically says that this document has been untampered with. So we basically have proof of stake, meaning that fingerprint matches. And that's how we can authenticate those documents are in fact true public record.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back and we'll direct the next question to Matt. We'll be right back on this fascinating topic after this.
Tamarack Junction is South Reno's hotspot with over 450 of the latest slots and video games. Sully's Sports Bar, the Dining Car Restaurant, William Hill Sportsbook, and the Tamarack Steakhouse and Lounge. We're just north of the Summit Mall in South Virginia. Yeah.
Kenny! Dad? What are you learning? This place is great. Huh? You gotta try this.
Wow, this stuff is great. People are gonna love it.
Yes. Yes, they will.
Hi, I'm Eric Robnett, owner of Home Energy Experts. Has this ever happened to you?
Honey, did you remember to turn down the thermostat?
Forgetting to set the temperature? Not fun. We can help. Our new smart thermostat keeps the temperature set for your comfort all by itself.
I'm feeling hot now.
To increase your comfort, go to homeenergyexperts.com for details. That's homeenergyexperts.com.
The signs and symptoms of cataracts can start out small with subtle changes in your vision. So don't wait. Be proactive and take your vision into your own hands. If you're experiencing the onset of cataracts or just have questions, contact your eye care professional or call Eye Care Associates of Nevada today. Dr. Hiss has years of experience specializing in the surgical correction of eye disorders and has completed over 84,000 vision correcting procedures. At Eye Care Associates of Nevada, we'll change the way you look at the world.
The Tamarack Junction Steakhouse is known for signature steaks, handcrafted cocktails, and world-class wines. Join us Thursdays and Friday nights from 4:30 to 6:30 in the Steakhouse Lounge for live music, gourmet plates, and well-priced wines, just north of the Summit Mall on South Virginia.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, coming to you from Carson City. We're continuing our conversation with State Senator Ben Kieckhefer, Matt Digesti of Blockchains LLC, and Kalie Work of the Washoe County Recorder's Office. Matt, let's talk about what does Blockchains LLC see over the next couple of years? Do you see and have you already had lots of inquiries from companies who are looking at this land? Because the land was kind of flying out the door for a long period of time at TRI, ever since Tesla first came into the marketplace. Are you seeing the same kind of response, and from companies that are willing to utilize blockchain technology?
Absolutely, it's been very exciting. We had our announcement in Prague last November, And after that announcement, when we were able to tell everyone what our plans were, the response has been literally global. And so we've had companies from Europe, we've had companies from Australia, from the United States. There's people all around the globe that want to come and collaborate with us on the vision that our founder has set out. Part of that is the land that was purchased out at Trek, which is now we're calling Innovation Park. And the companies you're seeing out there, Apple, Tesla, Google, Switch, there's conversations being had about how everyone can collaborate and create this area, this innovation park, in a way that showcases all of these new emerging technologies. So public blockchains is a part of it, but we're having conversations around AI, we're having conversations around nanotechnology, blockchains, and it's just a really exciting time, and people are very excited about it.
Okay, and you're building your own fiber loop around the park at this point in time, correct?
That's correct.
We're hearing a lot about 5G now that's starting to come online. It's going to be a while before we're able to utilize this, but is that part of your future planning?
Absolutely, and not to get too technical, but you asked what does it look like 2, 3, 4 years from now. When we develop this smart city, 5G is going to be a component. And when you look at really the power of public blockchain technology, or blockchain technology in general, it's when you combine that with 5G, IoT, and you start the edge
IoT?
Computing, Internet of Things technology.
Okay.
So you'll have smart homes, you'll have smart cars, smart energy grids, and you'll take these assets that traditionally they can't really speak to each other, and you empower them with 5G and Internet of Things technology and blockchain technology, and you can start having machine-to-machine communications and transactions with no human involvement whatsoever. So when we talk about a smart city that we're going to be building, it's really about empowering and making assets smart, where they can start interacting with each other in a way that benefits our daily lives.
So we've talked about the security of blockchain technology. Do we have the same kind of security when you get into the Internet of Things? For example, is my refrigerator going to start talking to my car and beating up on me, or is there a level of security that will go along with this as artificial intelligence continues to plow forward?
There's a level of security that goes along with it, and I'm not an expert in IoT. I focus on the blockchain side. We have some companies in Reno on the IoT side that are doing some great things. Breadware in Reno is one. They would be able to speak to it. But part of the power of blockchain technology is the security like you're talking about. So when we're talking about the data that's being created amongst these machines and being transferred, the security level through the use of cryptography in blockchain is very, very powerful. And I'll give you an example. Bitcoin,
a quick one, please.
A quick one. Bitcoin is the most well-known blockchain technology. In 2018, an estimated $3.2 trillion with a T was exchanged over the Bitcoin network. And it's never been hacked. The security has been absolutely flawless, so it's very powerful.
Yeah, the only problem with Bitcoin is that the value goes up and down. And so it's an interesting ride on that. Let me ask you this, Senator. Are you seeing a lot of interest from state government and from federal government to utilize this technology through the work that you're doing?
They're absolutely interested in it. They're trying to figure out how to, I think, incorporate this into their systems as they change. The conference that you referenced earlier was attended by a lot of state IT personnel. So I think they are learning, trying to make sure they're up to speed with what's happening in the space, with the contractors, the vendors that they're going to contract with going forward. But this is a technology that we can use to make government incredibly more efficient, incredibly more effective, and cost less long term for the taxpayers. So
and be more secure.
And be more secure. So the benefits to taxpayers by the implementation, development, and rollout of this technology is very powerful.
That's where we got to leave it for now. Please come back, all of you. We appreciate you being here, and we'll be right back.
Dimitri Prine here for Design Outdoor. Are you a homeowner who's interested in remodeling or building a home? At Design Outdoor, we can show you how adding natural or manufactured masonry stone can add beauty and value to your home. And we refer only the best contractors. Our store and backyard are located at 11600 South Virginia, just north of DeMonte Ranch Parkway. Visit designoutdoor.com or call us at 851-9499.
One of the most psychologically damaging things parents can do to children in divorce is disparage one another, which is why I can't believe I even have to make this commercial. Half of your kids' genetics come from this person you're spewing hate about. Your children have the right to love you both, but more than that, they deserve to love themselves.
Marilyn York might be a men's rights divorce attorney, but this is for every selfish parent. Shut up.
Hi, I'm Dave Newman. Remember me? I used to be the house detective, and now I'm a realtor, full-time at RE/MAX Realty Affiliates. A lot of people ask me, how's the market? You know what? It's fantastic. If you're even kicking around the idea of buying or selling, give me a call. Let's talk about it. Call me at RE/MAX Realty Affiliates and just ask for the guy who used to be the house detective, Dave Newman.
Everyone is talking about opioids, but they're not the only drugs that can be harmful if taken in large quantities or not as prescribed. You also need to be aware of side effects from anxiety drugs, muscle relaxants, sleep aids, and stimulants. Mixing prescription drugs with other drugs or alcohol can be dangerous. If you take Ambien with a glass of wine, it may be enough to stop you from breathing. Prescribed drugs can be just as dangerous as illegal drugs. Take medications only as directed.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, coming to you from the Capitol in Carson City. We have a great Power Pundit panel for the next couple of shows with Mendy Elliott, partner in Capital Partners. Mike Draper is with Argentum Partners. And Mary Lau doesn't have any partners. No, I'm kidding.
I don't
but
have
she's
any
the
partners.
she's the president and CEO of the Retail Association in Nevada. We just had a big discussion, obviously, about blockchains. You went to the big conference at McDonald Corona. What did you take out of that?
It was exciting, it's fascinating, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with their campus and their little houses and stuff like this. But blockchain's technology in itself is the technology of the future. We're running all these bills right now across the United States looking at data security, and they have the word blockchain because it is a program. That's all it is. You can compare it to a Rubik's Cube, you can compare it to silos, where Sam drops an article in a silo, you drop an article, Mike, Mendy drops, I drop, and then it's out there. But to get it, you have to have the programs to go in and grab it out of these credentialed silos. So it's amazing listening to the testimony on Mr. Kieckhefer's bill, on the senator's bill, in, I think it was finance. They had an amazing presentation again, and I'm a technology nut, so I love blockchains.
It's interesting too, you were talking about cybersecurity there for a moment. Ira Victor has said on this program, and he's a cybersecurity expert, that we are more concerned about the front door in terms of cybersecurity for the state, but we ignore the back door.
Absolutely.
And now we have cybersecurity bills, but I see nothing that's going on in those bills that really takes care of that situation.
No, we're still trying to find the problem and then find a solution to put it to it. And unfortunately, the way the legislature works, it's always behind technology. So right now, we've got several bills that are out there that are almost passé before they even get a hearing. So, I mean, I don't want to start going into a list of bills and stuff, but we're not capable and we don't seem to be able to have the staff to really guide things in the direction that's today's technology, that's today's business practices, that's today's common knowledge of what things are done, and all of a sudden you're looking at a bill and going, that was 3 or 4 years ago. That stuff's moved on.
I have Mr. Ira Victor's phone number if anybody needs it. Do you have a thought on this?
Well, I think that's a great point, Mary, is that the legislature is always running behind technology. We work with a lot of the different state departments that are constantly trying to rebuild their technology and implement new technology, but even the implementation of newer technology is always running behind what's happening in the private sector. And so that you see those issues of cybersecurity on all sides, quite frankly, because the state, because of how government works, is always slower than the private sector.
Mendy, you ran the Department of Business and Industry, so you had a first-hand seat at the table here.
I did, and I couldn't agree more with my two friends here. I think part of the issue is the cost associated with the state. Some of the departments are so huge, and so many people, if you think about having to replace computers for 2,000 people, the costs associated with it, the challenge is if we replace them today, 2 years from now we're going to be back because technology has changed so much, and that's part of the reason why the state kind of wonders, well, when do we need to jump in from the state's perspective? Business, we can't afford to do that. We have to stay on top of things. As a business community, we've got to be effective, efficient, and because if we're not, certainly our competition will be. The state doesn't have any real competition, so we can be a little slower to the table. But I do think that part of it is the cost. If you look at the actual dollars that have to go out from training, equipment, I mean, it's an astronomical number when you have the pressure of education and other things that the state needs to address.
Okay, so on the other side though, the risk and the cost of that risk has got to be through the roof.
It is absolutely through the roof. We had a department called Do It, and I think it's still the same for their technology, and they do the best they can, and they are providing a roadmap for what needs to be done. And departments go in and they talk about, we need X amount of technology in order to do X, and the legislature, because of the cost constraints, makes decision on what they're going to implement and when. Whether it's DMV, Department of Transportation, Department of Health and Human Services, all of the integration that takes place, not only between the department but interagency, it's massive. It's massive from a state's perspective.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We're going to hold you guys over to the next show, so we will be right back after this. A bird's eye captures its surroundings at different heights. At Brian Culpa Photography, we can make your imagination soar over buildings, parks, cityscapes, and beyond. Brian's images tell the story and get the job done. If you need a new perspective to tell your story, contact Brian today. Brian Culpa Photography. Experience the bird's eye view at brianculpaphotography.com.
Hi, my name's Marilyn Miner, and I'm sure you'd agree that Nevada's a very special place to live. I was born here, and my husband and I have raised our family here. I feel it's a privilege to live and work in the Truckee Meadows. I especially enjoy helping my clients reach their real estate goals. Sometimes the smallest details provide the greatest satisfaction. I'd be complimented to talk to you about your next move.
Call Marilyn Miner at Dixon Realty, 742-1280, or log on to marilynminer.com.
St. Ives Florist, for every holiday and every special occasion. For romance. Custom home design. We have the largest selection of fresh flowers in northern Nevada. And we also offer a large selection of unique gift items. Come see me, Lori Ann, at St. Ives Florist, 700 South Wells Avenue, or call me at 333-9190.
Pro Group Management specializes in providing industries with the necessary components to satisfy and exceed workers' comp requirements. Every business has unique needs and specific regulations. Pro Group Management stays ahead of the curve, providing up-to-date services to keep your industry in top form. Discover how we simplify your tasks, improve efficiency, and reduce expense to keep you moving in a positive direction. Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
On our next broadcast, State Senator Ira Hansen will join us. We'll see you then.